Today I'm going to save money, and I'm going to show you how to save money because a tomato plant can cost $5 for one plant. Well, all you need is one to make as many tomato plants as you want of a special variety. $5 for 1, 5, 10, 15 plants? You can't beat that. Oh, I'm not going to drink with this. I'm going to save a tomato plant with this. Hi, it's Robbie from Southern California. And you know, I wanted to get a certain variety that was hard to find. I ran around looking for Sungolds. Who would think it'd be really hard to find a tomato called Sungold? It's a small cherry type tomato. It's goldish orange and it tastes so sweet. Well, I was fortunate enough when I bought one, I finally found it. There were 2 plants in one pot, and it was like almost $5 for one pot, but that was okay because I actually went through all of them, and I didn't care about the size. I cared about how many were in there looking healthy, and there were 2. So now I've got them planted. Now they're already starting to throw tomatoes, but there's already suckers on the bottom. So I let the suckers get size to them, because if you take them when they're too tiny, there's a chance that it will rot before it will grow roots. But if you can get a little bit of size on them, you could end up with a ton of tomatoes to grow all this season from 1 or 2 plants. I'm going to get you down in here and you'll see exactly what we're going to cut off and how we're going to save it. And why do I have a coffee cup with water? Because I want to get my cuttings straight into this. I don't want them to dry out. I want them to get straight into the water, and hopefully in a matter of days I'll have some roots. Because I've already done my brandywines and other tomatoes this year. Same thing, I bought 1 plant and turned it into a half a dozen plants. But the Sungolds, I was going to buy more, and I thought, why should I buy more? They're a lot of money to buy 1 little pot. So I'll make my own. And I will show you how we're going to make a bunch of tomato plants out of this one. So here is a Sungold. I've got 1 marked here, see? And let me show you the other one so you can see that. And here is the tag that came with it. Same thing. Now this one, let's look down here. We've got a beautiful sucker here. See how this is coming off? This is the leaf. That is just the leaf, but this one is another plant for me. Now there's another one there. It's a little small. I may or may not take it, but this one's perfect. The leaf already was removed here, but now I've got another plant there. I might leave that one. Now let's look at this one. This one has quite a few as well. Here's one, and we will take the tomatoes that are going to start growing, the flowers off of that one. That's a sucker way down too close to the ground. And here's another one, which is quite long, which will be really good. There is one more that goes all the way in the back. So it's kind of got 2 leaders on it. I could decide to leave them and maybe remove this one. Well, let's decide together as we get in there and get these off and see what it looks like when we get the ones off that we know we don't want. Now I'm going to bring my cup of water and just sit it somewhere in there. We'll put it right there. And what I'm going to do here is go through and trim off the suckers I don't want. Now remember, I'm not going to remove all the suckers because I leave them. That's more food for me, more tomatoes. But I am going to remove, let's see if you can see here. See this? We're going to pinch that off. It's easier to just pinch it. Now I don't need this because I want it to grow roots right now. So we can just toss that back in there. And that is an awful lot of leaf matter on there for this poor plant to do anything. So I'm going to take a little bit of the leaves off and leave a little bit like that. And now we're going to pop that in the cup of water. Okay, now let's see what else. We don't need the leaf on the bottom here because this is a leaf. As you can see, there's nothing growing but leaf matter. It's not going to grow any tomatoes, so we can just leave that down there. This is another sucker. We're going to take this one off. Same thing. I'm going to remove this. And I'm going to remove this here. This doesn't have too much, but I do see your suckers that people tell you to trim off are actually going to grow tomatoes. But being so close to the ground, I don't want it touching the soil. And that's why I want to grow more plants. So now I've got 2 more. Let's see what else we've got. This one is way down on the ground. I think I am going to go ahead and take it off right like that. And let it grow the suckers on the top, not that far down. Now I'm going to take this off here. I'm going to take this off here. And I'm going to cut this one in half because they do need some leaves. Let's see. And I'm going to take off right there where it's trying to grow some more tomatoes. Now I've got 3. Now the decision is, what do I want to leave? I'm going to remove this leaf here. This is just a leaf. Taking that off, just making a pile. They'll just dry up, turn into soil. There's another leaf on the bottom. I don't want the leaf on the bottom. We're taking that off. And let's see. Now, I could take this, but this is good. I'm going to leave this one. This will be part of the plant. This one could go up. This one is so large. I think I'm going to leave this one and leave this one. So this particular one will have 2 major leaders, but it would have been a sucker, but I'm going to leave that. This one I'm thinking to give it more airspace. I probably will go ahead and remove this one. And now I'll do the same thing. Is there any tomatoes? Yes, see right on the top. It wants to grow tomatoes. And right now we want to get growth on these plants, not tomatoes. Get all that off. And we don't need this, the bottom leaves. And this one, I will take a little bit off. Let's see right there. I leave this one, and now I've got 4 of them in there. I think the rest of them I'm going to leave. I might take this leaf off down here. I don't know if you can see, but I want to remove the leaves down on the bottom. They don't need all the leaves on the bottom. I want really good airflow. Okay, now I took off all the leaves. Let's go look at the next one. Now we're here for this one. I'll just set my cup there for now. And I'll look through and see what kind of trimming I'm going to do on that. So I'm going to remove the leaf down on the bottom, because again, we don't need the leaf. This is just a leaf. See how it's getting dirty? This is not good. When I'm watering, it was laying in the soil. So you want nothing touching. You just want the stem in there. Now I'm going to remove a bottom sucker down here. This will be another plant. It's a good size. And if it looks like it's going to throw more suckers there, trim those off, because you only want this right now. I'm going to take that just like that. There might be some little flowers growing in there. Just pinch that off. So I've got this one now. See what else we've got. We've got a leaf down here. Oh, we've got another sucker I can take off. Get that right to the trunk almost. Not smack on it. You don't want to damage the main trunk, but just close to it. Take off some more of the leaves. Like you don't have to take the whole leaf off, so you can take part of it. That's pretty good. And now I'll get that popped into water. And I think that's enough, really. Let's see. Down here, there's a leaf in the back. I'm going to take the leaf off. Now, there is another sucker coming up in the very back, but the trunk itself only looks to be about 1 inch or 2. If I take it now, there's a good chance it won't make it. So what I think I'm going to do on that one, see how nice and clean that is? No leaves on the bottom. I think I'm going to leave that one, and I can decide in a day or 2 because they grow really fast. And it could be another 2 inches, 3 inches in 3 days. So I'm going to leave that, and for now this is really good, and the tomato will continue to grow good. So now I've got my plants. Let me put my cutters there. So let's see what they look like and how many I've got. I'll sit my cup in there. I'm going to have, if all goes well, 1, 2, 3. That's a big one. 4, 5, 6. The one that I left on the other plant was smaller than this one, and this is really cutting it close. But I should be able to still get some roots in there, maybe trim off a little bit more of the leaves as it grows, and we'll see how it goes. But look at that. That's another 6 plants. I really don't need any more than that. This is great. Can you imagine spending $4 or $5 for each of these plants to get a few extra sun globes around the yard, when all I had to do is this, and these will take off really fast. As our weather warms up, I will get them rooted. They can root in a matter of days. Then I will get them in soil. I'm going to root them in water. I'm going to put them in a glass jar and put them on my windowsill and keep an eye on them. I change the water every 1 to 2 days, and as soon as it has some nice roots on it, I get it either potted up or I get it straight into the container I want to grow in. That's how easy it is, and I'm so glad I only had to buy 1 sun gold and not 2, and now I'm going to have 6 with these, and then these 2, a total of 8. I can't remember, it was $4 or $5. That's a good buy. So I hope I've given you some tips and tricks on how to get a certain variety that you want because you're just dying to buy it, but you don't want to spend a lot of money. Get a nice plant, look and see if the suckers are growing on it, and if you see suckers growing, you'll know in a matter of a week you can start trimming and making more plants out of one. So with that, have a wonderful day, and don't forget to eat what you grow. Bye-bye! Isn't that cool? So here they are. I'm going to put them in a little jar. These are the brandywines. I've got a couple more I'm going to plant now. I've got some in cups, some already in the ground. See the roots starting? They grow so quickly. So those two are ready to pop into a flower pot or straight into the ground. That's a spice jar, and it's glass, so it's nice and heavy, and it won't tip on my windowsill. Now here are the cuttings I just did. And these are the sun golds. There's 6 of them. And right now I'm going to put it like in a little medicine jar, and I put a rock in there. The reason I put a rock is this jar is plastic and it's light, but the rock will make it a little heavier, and it's filled to the top with water. And now I'm just going to pop all 6 of the tomatoes in there, and I'll keep an eye on it. That's why I like having it on the windowsill. And as soon as I see the roots, I'll let a little bit of the roots get some size to them, and then I'll either pop them into pots with some potting soil or paper cups, or I'll get them in a tote or a container and get them out in the garden. And now I'm going to have $30 worth of free plants, and sun golds are wonderful.